But the Children's Home Society of Idaho is a nonprofit that offers counseling services for children and families. So here today with us, we have clinic director, licensed master social worker. We have Dina Denney to talk about how going back to school, it can actually affect children and what we can all do together as a family, as supporters, to help them ease back into the process. So this, I know, is a huge topic for many parents and many caregivers out there right now, especially as we transition out of a pandemic, and then we're in these schedules that were on and off again, and then last year was kind of that gray area with tardies and no tardies and sick days and no sick days. I'm already exhausted as a parent thinking about it, so I can only imagine how it's impacting our kids, right? I want to talk about that in a moment, but first, let's introduce your organization, though, to our viewers. So tell us, though, what is your organization all about?
Awesome. Well, we are all about children and families. We believe income should not be a barrier to receiving help, so we offer services to anyone in our community. We really want to help children succeed and be awesome little learners in school so they can be productive people in their later lives. And so that's our big passion, is working with children and their families.
Okay, great. And this is in the form of counseling, right?
Yes, ma'am. We have counseling. We offer groups. So we try to be really encompassing. We're in some of the schools because they had some need, and we want to continue to grow that. So really, any area we find that we can fit in, we're going to try to help.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So needed, especially right now. Always, but especially right now. Let's talk about some of those challenges, though, that some families, some children might be facing this year going back into the classroom.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, it's quite dynamic, is what we're seeing. It's not just a pandemic children and families are worried about. They're also worried about violence in schools, bullying, more extreme violence that we are hearing way too much of on the news, and just it's so prevalent. So we're seeing that anxiety and depression definitely is on the rise, and it's been on the rise for a while. I mean, even before the pandemic. And so having children isolated, and some of those kids felt safer in isolation, so to come out of that feels scary. And so we're definitely seeing it's a dynamic problem.
It's such a great word, because dynamic is so true. I mean, I'm seeing it impacting my family, my friends' families.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of in this stew, if you will, of all these different experiences. And it's, I think, at least from what I've experienced, can also kind of make it hard for some communities to relate with each other, because we all had our own little individual experiences, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk, though, about, you had mentioned depression, anxiety. What are some things that parents can keep an eye out for when their child returns to the classroom to make sure that we're keeping an eye on that?
Absolutely. So just parents know best, which is the best part. You're the expert in your kiddo.
You get that gut instinct, right?
Yeah, so pay attention to that. So if you're noticing changing in eating habits, if you're noticing that they're losing joy, they're a lot like adults. So if they're lacking pleasure in things that used to give them pleasure, that's a red flag. As far as bullying, they might not come out and say it. So if you're noticing their clothes are ripped and torn, their backpacks are, things like that, they're looking a little more disheveled when they get home. Those are really big indicators. Anxiety, it could manifest in many ways. A lot of ways it's somatic, so they'll have tummy aches, they'll have headaches, they'll have things that aren't really things they should be struggling with because they don't have a cold or a flu, but they're having symptoms. Those are all pretty big red flags.
Okay, and what can we do as parents then if we start to identify some of these red flags?
Communicate, just notice it. Things are only as weird as you make it. So as long as you're coming from a place of love and concern, kids are generally responsive. Let them know their options. 988 is a wonderful line. We have the Speedy Foundation that has awesome online resources. We have us, which is the best resource in my opinion. And we can help connect you to the proper help if you're at a loss of what to do, but just facilitate those conversations and let them know that you see them and you love them and you just want to help.
That they're supported.
Yeah.
They're not alone. And
absolutely.
That they're supported. Yes.
Yes, and check in with school staff because they're
idea.
your best backup. While they're not with you, they're with them. So keeping that relationship open and communicating with them, they love that. So just letting them know that there's a lot of support there.
Great. And as the children head back to the classroom, some parents might already be dealing with a little bit of that anxiety. Maybe not enough to reach out to a counselor just yet, but they want to empower their child to be confident that first day, that first week, through the first month. Do you just have a couple of tips that maybe parents can share with their kids? Yeah,
one, just keep it real. We get jitters when we're starting a new job or have any big change, so just let them know, hey, it's normal to get anxious and it's normal to feel worried. And that's perfectly normal. That in itself will help normalize it. And outside of that, just letting them know that they're awesome. And if they need anything, you're there. And just love on them, because that is, You can never have enough of that.
Yes, I agree. And that's something I know that I can definitely do a lot of. I love loving on my kids. All right, so if people are interested in using your nonprofit as a way to help their family, to help their children, because maybe they're already starting to identify some of those red flags, and they just want to be prepared for the school year, what do they do?
Just reach out to us. We have a location in Meridian and a location in Boise, and we also are in some of our schools, and we plan on getting into more of them. So just give us a call, go on our website. We're ready and waiting, and we have the best clinicians on standby just ready to help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I know you've already helped my family a lot here in just this conversation with some of the takeaways. I know many parents right now are probably really appreciative. Greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure.